Here with Chris Canty. Time for Say What? Friend of the show, Mark Schlereth won 3 Super Bowls in his heyday, but now that Stink's retired, he puts all his focus into grass. Say what?
Hey, welcome into another edition of Man 101. And yeah, you found me in my favorite place. That's right, my lawn. And I'm telling you what, people, it is spectacular. Look at this. July 21st. I'm telling you what, a thing of beauty. And don't think I don't hear the whispers in the neighborhood, the accusations. That's right. People accusing me of lawn PEDs. Well, let me tell you something, people. This is 100% all natural. I water this with the blood and the sweat, and I fertilize with my own tears of joy. That's right, people. I'm out here working, mowing 3 days a week. Meanwhile, you've got some namby-pamby landscaping company mowing your lawn once a week. Shame on you.
See, you recently moved. You now have a lawn.
Yeah.
You hit up Stink for any tips? Lawn care? Anything like that?
No, yeah, I got some tips for you. I grew up in the housing project. When you can hire a lawn company, that's major coming up in the world. In the projects, ain't no grass and nothing but brick, man, nothing but concrete. No. I ain't nothing. Forget Stink.
I don't know, but seeing his lawn make me feel like I need to get on my landscapers to get their game stepped up.
Okay, not that you need to do it individually.
I'm not doing it. No, I'm not doing it. I spend enough time in the grass in my profession.
Palatial Estates of Alpine, New Jersey. If you want to go see Chris Canty.
We got to take it there.
Drive by the house with the Bentley parked out front.
Yeah, with the terrible lawn. I'm going to need my landscapers to step
Bad lawn, Bentley out front. It's Canty's house.
All right. Moving on. No better candidate for most hyped team in the NFL than the Cleveland Browns, due in large part to their stud quarterback Baker Mayfield and to the addition of the artist formerly known as the kid with the yellow hair, Odell Beckham Jr. However, ahead of OBJ's first training camp in Cleveland, the flashy wideout is hoping to downplay expectations.
I'm excited to be a part of the excitement. You know, I've really, like I said, I've watched from afar kind of, you know, the struggles, whether they didn't win a game that one year and then they won a game and now they went from 7 to 9. I feel like it's just been on the come up. You know, it's just that time. And I just want to be able to give absolutely everything I have and see where we land. Baker's ready to sling it, and we're ready to win some games.
I like that. I felt good after hearing him talk yesterday. How do you think, how good do you think this Browns team can be this year?
I think they can be a good football team. I think that we can get to the last month of the season, and we're talking about the Cleveland Browns being in the playoff picture.
Yep.
John Dorsey has done a tremendous job of adding talent to this roster. But when I listen to Odell and you think about the hype and the expectations around this team, like, this is the first time a lot of those guys are having to deal with those expectations. Odell has only been a part of one winning team. That was the 2016 Giants. They played in the wild card up in Green Bay. That's it. Just one team with a winning record. That Cleveland Browns franchise has had 17 losing seasons this millennium. So, I mean, this is a new position for them to be in, and these are relatively young players. So I wonder how they're going to be able to manage all of that, and that's why I have to look at the head coach, Freddie Kitchens. That's my biggest question for the Cleveland Browns in 2019. How does he do in terms of setting the agenda for the team? Because that's going to determine how these guys go about their business, whether or not they're able to stay focused with all the strong personalities that they have in that building. That's what it's going to come down to. Freddie Kitchens, his ability to be able to lay it all out for these young players, because again, when you talk about young players in this league, they don't necessarily have the formula for success. Nope. They're going to have to lean on their head coach to help provide that.
You make some great points. I do believe it's important as far as Freddie Kitchens. There's a number of other people that become very, very important. Their defensive coordinator, Steve Wilks, running that defense after the short stint there in Arizona. He didn't get the best look to be a head coach there. They fired him after a year. So he becomes important because the experience he does have as a coach, and he was a defensive coordinator in Carolina when they were nasty, and he has the personnel. This might be the best personnel that he's had since he's been in professional football, and definitely in the most recent time. That becomes important because defense travels. Next thing, their offensive line and their running game. Number one thing Freddie Kitchen did when he took over the team, they start running the ball, they start protecting the team. That travels. A running game and a defense, they will help stabilize you. So what if the quarterback's off? The wide receivers aren't getting their numbers. You can win 9 games with just that, being elite level at those two things. Now, on the outside, they can be special as far as their wide receiving or their skilled group. But they got to make some sacrifices. And it's easier to sacrifice when you've been paid. Jarvis Landry, he's had 100-catch seasons. He's been to the Pro Bowl. Odell's been to the Pro Bowl. Both of them have the big contract. Now, when you have the big contract, it's about sacrifice. So how many outbursts will I see with Odell on the sideline where he is a distraction to other guys on the team because guys aren't used to some of those types of things? And if he has 2 catches and they win, does he have the same joy? Because I'm going to tell you, people used to film me and Randy Moss. When I scored, they would immediately go to Randy Moss and film and see what type of enthusiasm he had. And I'm going to tell you, sometimes you tired, man. You'll know this, Canty. You got a double team. Some guy comes free. He sacks the quarterback. You're trying to finish up your business with the center and everything. You're not jumping up there going everything, but people will blow those things up. And those are the types of things that in Cleveland, you're going to have to watch for this year. This is what people will be watching for. I don't know if the numbers will say so, but Odell Beckham, mentally and physically, is ready to have his best season on a winner, which he's not used to.
So how good can this team be at its best? The biggest question mark, as you mentioned, is coaching. Let me address that in a moment.
Okay.
Why can this team, at its best, everything falls right, not be what the 2012 Niners were? A young team, by the way, with a young, unproven NFL head coach, the young quarterback that went to the Super Bowl. The 2013 Seahawks, we look at Pete Carroll as a great coach now. Pete Carroll, at that point in the Seahawks, he had failed in New England, gone back to college, was unproven at the NFL level. Russell Wilson, we know how unproven he was. They won the Super Bowl. 2017 Eagles. Doug Peterson, they settled on Doug Peterson after missing out on Ben McAdoo. They won the Super Bowl. The 2018 Rams. Now, we all love McVay, think he's a young genius, but he is, relatively speaking, unproven prior to last year, certainly. Second-year coach. They go to the Super Bowl. All those teams had second-year quarterbacks, all of them highly drafted except for Russell Wilson, and they all had a defense that could, in spots, carry the offense. The Niners and Seahawks had defenses that often carried the offense. That's, to me, the hidden gem of this Browns team. It's not just that they added Odell and that Baker's going to continue the trajectory that he was. It's that defensive line, with Myles Garrett potentially playing a full 16, bringing in Olivier Vernon, you love the Larry Ogunjobi kid, and they add Sheldon Richardson, plus Denzel Ward, plus the safeties. They have the ability to be a top 10 defense to go along with that dangerous of skill position group. So the ceiling to me is, best case scenario, they can go to the Super Bowl. I don't think that's hype. I don't think that's too premature. I think we've seen teams with this blueprint go to the Super Bowl. That is assuming you're concerned Freddie Kitchens doesn't trip them up.
Odell went on to say, every year when I was with the Giants, people asked me what I thought about this season. And I said, oh, we can go to the Super Bowl. He said, I'm not going to do that this year. I'm going to sort of level my expectations and say, I think we're going to be good. Let's see how we can do. I think it's a great approach. And I think this team that is so hyped, if they maintain that approach, they could actually do some good things. Canty, we'll see you a little bit later on in the show. Coming up, guess who's here? Hall of Famer Mariano Rivera in the building.
Welcome, baby.
My man.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Thank
Hey,
you.
Mariano.
Hey, babe.
How are you? Nice to see you again.
Congrats. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Come on in.
Good to see you, man.